Yo guys, welcome back to another episode. As you can see, I'm back in the mobile office once again. This time of the year I find myself in here a lot more, but that's okay. You know, that's the nature of the game. And matter of fact, I'm gonna go to my happy place and throw my hat back on. Not really a lover of letting the hair flow, just saying. You know, I don't have a beautiful mane like I used to. But with that being said, we appreciate you guys being here. If you're new to the channel, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, get involved. We're here for you. Just grab my microphone. I realized that I had it on the side, so now you should be able to hear me a little bit better. You know, we're still getting better, man. This is life. Sometimes we make mistakes, and you've heard me talk about making mistakes, learning from them, growing from them, and I'm no different than you. I'm a regular human being. I just somebody that I've been through the ringer and back and have just survived through a lot of stuff to create a very successful business and then get the opportunity to talk to you guys and help you maybe grow your own company or just help you thrive inside these trades, inside this blue collar life, because that's what it's all about. So on today's episode, I wanted to discuss with you guys a little bit about knowing your numbers, understanding how you're charging for jobs, making sure you're not leaving any profits on the table, make sure you're maximizing your ability to scale and grow, because at the end of the day, that's what being in business is all about. I don't have this channel just for business owners, but if you are somebody that is in the blue collar space, and maybe like a lot of guys I know who don't necessarily own their own companies, but they do a lot of side work, if you think this same conversation doesn't apply to you, you're completely wrong, because I can tell you from my own experiences over the years, when I did little side jobs, I thought it was different than really having my own company. I thought I could charge less than the other guy, and some of that's true. Because if you are a business owner, you do understand that overhead is a real thing. We have trucks, we have vans, we have cars, we have service vehicles, we have, you know, equipment and everything else that we have to pay for. On top of that, we have insurances. So there is something to that. But with that being said, I assume, and I may be wrong to assume this, but I assume that if you're somebody watching this that does do side work, there is an end game in it for you, and that's not to be working for somebody else. Now, if you are, that's okay too. But even then, you got to remember, the skill that you have is something you work super hard to attain. You spent countless hours, countless years learning your craft. And this is something I struggled with for a very long time, if I'm being honest, because I am a very honest person, and I am kind to people. And sometimes I had devalued myself to accommodate others. And there are times when you're going to go in and maybe you need to do things a certain way. Depends on the family, depends on the person. For me, I work in big buildings, so I don't do a lot of charity work when it comes to that, because people are collecting big rent rolls. But I have done a lot of favors for people in smaller houses, but I've also had to create boundaries over the years. My life is very busy. Running a company of the size that I have is not easy. It takes time, it takes effort, it's a lot of stress, and I used to just say yes to everybody because that's just who I am. You know, I have a bleeding heart for people. I understand not having heat. I understand not having hot water. So I was always undervaluing myself. I was either giving the jobs away for nothing because I was just too nice. Those were for people I was a little bit closer to. And then when it came to charging, I kind of like felt bad for people, and I always undercharged. And again, I'm okay with it. There's morals involved. I'm not telling you to price gouge people. That's not what this training is about. That's not what this video is about. But I want you guys to understand that your value and how you value yourself matters. Understanding what your hourly rate should be based on your knowledge matters. Now, don't be the guy that has little knowledge and is going out there and overcharging people and then not producing a good product. That's and I hope that's not you watching this, but I imagine the people that are watching these videos have higher standards and are the type of people that want to do the right thing, but at the same time, your time is money. And that's, I think, something that's been missing in the world that people don't understand. You've put a lot of hours. In my business, I have about 16 years of experience. So for me to go to somebody's house, yes, for you, you've been doing, I'm looking into the camera and I'm looking at myself. I've been doing this for 16 years. I can figure out somebody's problem that seems simple to me, but clearly it's not simple to them because you're at their house. Let's call it residential, and you're the one fixing it. So it may be simple to me. And I get this a lot from people. They say, well, you were in and out of here real fast. I say, yeah, but you couldn't figure it out. So there is a level of understanding that it took you that time to build the knowledge to be able to handle the problem. We're so quick to undercut ourselves and undervalue ourselves based on what other people say. So at the end of the day, I'm forthright with people at this point. I either say no flat out, depending on what the situation is. When it comes to heat and stuff, and it comes to the winter, if I'm being honest, I still don't say no very often, but I am a little bit more firm in how I price jobs. Because I think it's the right thing. You know, I'm taking time out of my day. I'm giving you my expertise. And I also have a guarantee on the box, if you know what I'm saying. I'm a little Tommy boyish. I'll never leave that house until it's done. And I'm never going to I never keep charging when, you know, whatever I did maybe didn't work, which typically doesn't happen in residential. But even in my big company, if I'm being honest, even when I've charged somebody or we get callbacks and stuff, we never recharge and recharge and recharge. It's not like that. We'll have to eat that. That's business 101. But with that being said, I've seen so many people undervalue their skills over the years. And it's very upsetting, honestly, to see, because we're tradesmen. People think that it's easy. It's easy. You know, I work so hard, you know, swinging hammers, slinging wrenches, lifting heavy stuff just to provide heat and hot water for people is a tremendous responsibility, and it's something that I don't take lightly, and it's something I put a lot of work and energy into, and I'll be damned if somebody's just going to take that from me, because you earned it, and you got to remember that. And I know this is so silly to talk about, but I'm talking to you right now. You earned it. You put the time in. You deserve what's coming to you. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't have a bleeding heart and you can't work with people and you can't give them a deal or two here and there. I'm not saying that. We're not talking about price gouging. I have seen many people go out there and banging people over the head, and I'm not with that either. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I'm not a proponent of that. I would like to do the right thing, but sometimes the right thing is the right thing, if you know what I'm trying to say. The right thing isn't undervaluing or undercutting your own self just because somebody else, right? Again, there's always outliers and always going to be situations where maybe. But typically, I try to do the right thing, but that also comes with a price. And if people don't want to pay, I'll try to help them out in other ways. I know some other companies or other people that maybe want to charge less, but do not undervalue your skills and your time in the trades, man. It's the most important lesson I've learned over the years. And I always walk away from jobs that I've given away, basically, and I feel terrible. And not because internally I feel terrible, but I think to myself, because, you know, every one of these jobs comes with a stress, and I don't care. Again, you'll hear me say this on every video. This pertains to any trade you're in. I happen to be talking about boilers. You might be talking about an electrical issue. You may be talking about a leak in a roof. It does not matter across the board. Maybe you're a welder and some metal broke, and you know and it's an emergency job. Like, it's all the same, right? Now, obviously, the pricing on that could be different because each trade is slightly different. What's involved? What are the materials? All those things. That's not what we're talking about. But understanding how to charge. Now, talking about business, I have to understand what my overhead is. I got to know what my monthly expenses are. I have to know what my guys cost per hour on paper. And then I also have to price in my profits, because what's a business without profit? I'm no good to my customers if I can't keep the doors open. And you have to remember that. Don't be those type of people that aren't a little bit selfish. You kind of have to be. You have to get your value. You have to get your value. So you got to know your numbers. If you're the business owner and you're watching this, you got to know what your personal numbers are too, because if I have to go out of my day and I have to spend time in your building and I have to spend countless hours trying to figure out your problems, then I have to charge accordingly, you know? And I'll be honest, there's another layer here, and I'll give this to you. I'll give you a little hint into my business. What happened is they call me for my expertise because I have many years in it. I go to the building, I walk it, I figure out the problem. I send a proposal of what I believe they need to do, and then they have somebody else do the work. So if you're me in my shoes, what do? I bang them over the head for my time. Now, obviously, if they give me the job, I'm more lenient how I charge for my time, right? It's not like a free estimate. They're having a problem and nobody can figure it out. I got to go in and figure it out. And then there's a solution to the figuring it out. And that solution is presented to them. And if they decide to give the solution away to somebody else, you're getting banged over the head. I'm sorry, and this is another thing you guys have to keep in mind. Your expertise led to the repair. If you're not getting the repair and you're offering the repair, then they should let their own people figure it out. So if they're using me to get the answers, guess what? I'm getting paid what I'm getting paid. So you got to keep that in mind. An interesting quote that I've seen: what you don't track owns you. And it's so true. If you don't track your numbers, if you don't track, what you're putting out, your inputs and your outputs, if you're not controlling and understanding and tracking what your dollars and cents are, you're going to get buried. We learned this early on in business. At first you see dollars on a paper, but then you realize how much insurance is, how much workers' comp is, how much salaries are, and salaries go up. They don't stay the same. So there's always fluctuation going on, and as well as inflation and how the cost of materials. I can tell you guys, over COVID, the prices of things over a 5-year period and even now have gone up 200%. So my price from 5 years ago can't be the same as the price today. If you're continuously selling the jobs at the same price, you're losing money. So again, not to give you a master class in business, but I think a lot of the stuff is very elementary, but you'd be surprised how many people don't understand the value of knowing what your time is worth, knowing what your hourly needs to be for you to be in profit, knowing how to upsell your parts, right? You're the one sourcing those parts. You're the one going to the supply house for those parts. You're the one putting in the legwork for those parts. You got to upsell those parts. The supply house is not going to sell the parts for the same price to your clients that they are to you also. So you got to keep that in mind. Remember, know your numbers. It's super important. It will be the game changer of all game changers. And again, this isn't about business ownership. This could be just you and your side jobs. Do not undervalue your skill, your time in the business, and everything you've put in to get to where you are right now. Appreciate you guys being here, man. Once again, I hope you got something from this. That's what this is all about. It's for educational purposes as much as it is having real conversations about real life situations. And I really do appreciate you guys being here. I'm super happy to be able to share this time with you, share these experiences with you, and after so many years of being in the trades, getting an opportunity to have master classes like this and be the person that people look to for these types of answers or these types of conversations means the world to me, because I've worked super hard to get to where I am today. And there's been a little bit of imposter syndrome along the way, like who would listen to me? But the truth is, I know my value. This is the same reason we're having this video. I know my value. I know what I bring to the table. I know people will learn from it, and I know people will grow from it, and I know people will really get something from it. So it means the world to me. I appreciate you guys again. If you watched till the end, please subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. Don't forget, help us out. We're really trying to grow this thing. It's greatly appreciated that you took your time to watch this. It really means the world to us. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, anything like that, drop them below. I answer every question. We're always open for different ideas, things you might be struggling with that you'd like us to touch on, topics. Gladly, I'd like to jump in here and do that for you. I'm a grassroots guy, man. That's what you're going to get. I'm not coming in here with analytics. I'm not coming in here with raw numbers. That's not what it's about. I'm here to push you to realize that you have everything it takes to be everything you want to be, and it's within you. You just have to realize it. So I'm here to help extract it and help you grow. So I appreciate you guys one more time. Thank you for being here. Hope you have a wonderful day. Keep kicking ass. Peace.